Good morning, everybody, or should I say good evening? It's actually Saturday night and we are camping in the garden.
Proper job.
Proper job it is. So let's just give you a proper little scan of where we are. Those are the cushions from the caravan. There's our lovely fire pit that Johnny built. We've got a beautiful camper van over there. We've got another green camper van in the shed. We've got how many tents? 5? 4? Lots of tents. But no, we're going to camp out here. And look, Johnny's sporting some very pretty toes. He let me paint some of his toenails.
She forced me.
Yeah, right. Like you can be forced to do anything, my love. I have no idea if you guys will be able to see this, but basically that's our bed for the night. Kind of lit it up by torchlight. So this is me next to the bench. That's my pillow there. There's Johnny's pillow and his sleeping bag. And the fire.
Wow, some heat in there.
There is some heat in that. Johnny's just ransacking the fire so that it doesn't make him too hot. That's beautiful. Good morning, everyone. That was an amazing night. Just woken up and managed to open my eyes because, man, is it bright out here. But look at that sky, isn't that just beautiful? The chickens are cackling, the cows are mooing. The cat's going to be hungry though, so time to get up. Shall we get this show on the road? All right, Q&A Sunday. Welcome. Excuse the hair. This is camping hair. Don't care. So, Scooby-Loo, what's the tattoo of on your arm and why did you get it? That is it. It is 2 crossed feathers. So I got one tattoo when I was 19. I was a lifeguard at a local holiday park and it felt like a good thing to do. I have no idea. And I kind of wanted another one, but it's that whole thing, isn't it, of like, oh, what if I don't love it? And oh, what if everybody else gets one and all that kind of stuff. So it did take me a while, but this one was actually done because it was Johnny's 50th birthday and we went to the tattoo shop. He wanted a stranglers on his arm to cover up a little tattoo that he's got, and the guy talked him out of it because of where he wanted it and because of the actual stranglers logo. It would have been a lot of solid ink and it would have over time just kind of faded into itself and like bled. So he decided not to get his done. But while we were in there, I went, oh yeah, hang on, can I have one? So the guy, I said I'd like 2 crossed feathers. So the guy scribbled it up and that was that. I remember the first time I looked down and saw it on my arm and it was like a shock and it's like, oh my God, what have I done? But actually, I absolutely love it. I tend to wear 3/4 length tops anyway, so sometimes you might just see a little peak. I don't have the arms for like strappy tops and stuff, so I've never got my arms fully out. But no, I love it and I want more, but I don't really have the body canvas for tattoos, unfortunately. I think if I was slim and fit and toned, I would just be a canvas pretty much. Angelica, coffee, all about the coffee. She says, I've seen your reviews with different coffee makers, but have you talked about the one you use at home? I have, but I'm happy to do it again. Dun, dun, dun. We have 3 of these between us. One lives in Myrtle, one lives in Johnny's car, which will soon be moving over into his camper van, one lives in our kitchen. It's the best, in my opinion, unless you're going to spend hundreds plus to get a really high-tech machine in your kitchen, which we don't want to. Like, why would you want to spend so much money when that does it so damn well? If anyone out there loves coffee and hasn't tried an AeroPress before, I think they're like, it's 30 quid or something, maybe just a little bit under. You will be blown away at how good this coffee is. It's made under pressure. So as you push down on the syringe part, it pushes the coffee and the water through under high pressure. The flavour that you get from your coffee beans is just insanely good. So that is what I rate hands down. I have also been using that little cotton bag, the little organic cotton bag. I took that out the other day somewhere. Oh, when I went to hospital, when I went to my little part-time job, I took my travel mug and my little cotton bag with my coffee in, so when I got there I could just fill it up from the hot water still in the staff room. I didn't want to drink coffee on the way because coffee makes me pee like insane amount. It's crazy. And I didn't want to have to use any other toilets in the hospital or en route. I just wanted to go and use the staff toilet in my department because I know how clean it would have been. So that was my thinking. So yeah, AeroPress or the little organic cotton bag. I'll link to, yeah, I have done a review on the AeroPress. It wasn't the same kind of style as the whole coffee maker reviews that I've done more recently. It was quite a long time ago, but I'll link to it anyway. And I'll also link to the little cotton bag review if anyone out there hasn't seen it. Oh, coffee grinders was the other question. So I have 2 coffee grinders, and I'll be honest, this is actually the one we use most. So Johnny got this secondhand. Up until this point, and this was only a year or 2 ago, up until this point we'd bought our beans ready ground, but he got his AeroPress secondhand with this from a lady whose son had moved out and left it, and so he went and picked it up, and I think he got the 2 for 20 quid, which is a real bargain. This is a blade grinder. So if you look inside, you've got those 2 blades. They whiz round really, really fast, and they just cut what they hit. So the grind that you get is not consistent. You get big chunks, you get tiny powdery bits. We've now learnt that this is not the perfect way to grind your coffee. It's the easiest way that we have, and I do still use this most of the time, if I'm honest, because you can get like a fair amount of beans in there, and I probably only have to grind, say, twice a week. I definitely don't grind every day, but more recently, actually for Christmas, I asked for this for Christmas. This is a Henry Charles burr grinder. So at the bottom you get a little canister that the grounds fall into. At the top you put your beans in here, and as you wind that handle, so it's manual, which is great for camping, it pushes the beans through and they get ground up by burrs. So basically each piece of coffee that goes through the grinder comes out at a consistent size, and you can change the size from very fine powdered coffee up to a really chunky coarse grind. This is really good. I can't remember the price of this, but he did get this on Amazon for me. It was on my wish list. I'll leave a link to this and to the other one as well if you're interested. If you're into coffee, then apparently you need to go for a burr grinder. They are more expensive than the blade grinders though, so just bear that in mind. This one was the cheapest one I found on Amazon with the best reviews. I always look at the reviews on Amazon because I tend to trust them more than the marketing spiel, if I'm honest. So yes, there you go. Coffee makers and grinders. Michelle wants to know, she said, what was the actual plant that you said was free food, just like spinach? Sorry, it was stinging nettles. I can't remember if you're in the UK, Michelle. Yes, I think you are. Yeah, it was just a massive bank of freshly grown stinging nettles. I might even get down there this week and just hack a load down and process them for the freezer. It's the really good time of year to be picking spring greens because they're full of lots of life, lots of health-giving properties. So yes, stinging nettles. And as soon as you heat them, either in water or over a flame, the sting absolutely disappears. So they're really, really good. The Elf Locker's Dream. Firstly, I love your name and I feel there's a story behind that. Love to know what it is. Your question, what's your job in the hospital, Jane? Gosh, you are such a busy person, you never stop. I wish I had your energy. So first of all, I have to manage my energy. I'm not, although I run at a very high speed, I do suddenly just have to stop and rest. And I've kind of, as I've got older, I've kind of come to terms with that quite well. I'm definitely a morning person, so that's why I try to get my work done, like anything that uses this or my body, I try to get done in the morning, because after lunch I need to like slow down a little bit. I also go to bed really early, so I manage my energy. I'm not naturally energetic, unfortunately. I wish I was one of those people. My hospital job, so for 10 years or so I was an acupuncturist. Self-employed acupuncturist in private practice. I specialised in irritable bowel syndrome, and my clinics were private. They were outside of the hospital environment. Then I met a lady that was running she was a cancer care nurse and she dealt with head and neck cancer patients. And one of the massive symptoms that patients get after going through chemotherapy and radiotherapy to head and neck is that they end up with a permanently dry mouth, and it's really debilitating. She'd read a study, which I think was from Sweden, suggesting that acupuncture was superb for helping people deal with this dry mouth syndrome, or xerostomia as it's also known. So she got me in, we did a little trial, and 13 years later I'm still there. My little clinic is 3 hours a week, that's it. I do the 50-mile round trip, I'm in there for a few hours and I come home again. And I have to say that completely zonks me out. Very often the afternoon that I've been to the hospital in the morning, I'm in bed. It really just, it's great fun. I love that clinic, and I've given up all my private practice now. I don't do any other acupuncture apart from that little hospital clinic. It's very, I get a lot out of it. It's really lovely. The patients are really lovely. Okay, Mary from Rambling in Ramsey says, so you were saying the duck will actually raise the Canada goose. Incredible. Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? If a duck takes an egg and becomes maternal towards that egg and hatches it, then it will hatch anything. So you could get a tiny little silky chicken raising a Canada goose, for example, although that would be really interesting, seeing a tiny little chicken sitting on a massive goose egg. So yeah, it's quite possible, and it might have already happened. I will go down to the pond this afternoon. I think I'll take a coffee down there and just sit down there and see if I can really work out who that baby is with, because it's very odd. You'd normally would see a baby splashing around with its mum close by squeaking, which makes me think it is that Muscovy, because she's still sat on eggs. So I don't know. Watch this space. Mary also said that it was nerve-wracking watching me with bare hands at the market. She lives in America. She says, we wear gloves and masks here, then everything goes into a disinfection bath before it goes into the kitchen. All outer wraps get left outside. I did comment on Mary's post, but right from the start of coronavirus, I have been open to catching it. I'm fit and strong. I think I'd fare pretty well, as does Johnny. And we believe that we would build up an immunity to that particular strain of the virus. I appreciate this might be a little bit risky. There are people a lot younger, a lot fitter and a lot healthier than me that have passed away from it, sadly. So yeah, it might be a bit dumb. And I'm not putting myself in dangerous situations. But when I do go out locally, I guess because we're so rural, there's very few people wearing masks and gloves. I do carry them with me. And if, I don't know, I mean, if people were coughing and spluttering around me, maybe I would be tempted to put the mask on. As I've said, from day one, we've been protecting my mum and my brother, so they still haven't left the house. And I can't imagine that they will be leaving the house until there's a vaccine, to be honest. But Johnny and I, we're the ones that are going out into the real world, and if we get it, we get it. Mary also asks, what responses did I get about cleaning that enamel pan? This is the pan. This is a vintage enamel baking tray. I've got a few of these, and a few of them are really stained at the bottom. I've tried everything to get this off. Somebody suggested bicarb, which I tried. Somebody suggested lemon juice, which I tried. So I had it on the kitchen counter, and I put something under it so the lemon juice was forced into one corner, and I think I squeezed half a lemon in there, and I left that overnight, and then the next morning I scrubbed and nothing. Then the next night I did the other side, and I did the other half of a lemon with some bicarb, and there was an awesome chemical reaction. It all fizzed and frothed, but it didn't actually take any colour off. Mary asked if I've tried the WD-40. I meant to actually before recording this video, but I haven't, Mary. I can't imagine it would work, but I will give it a go. So does anyone know, is this staining on an enamel pan likely to be staining? Am I likely to be able to get that off, or has the enamel paint just worn off over the years? Can you get things re-enameled? It's probably horribly expensive. Can you re-enamel stuff yourself? That would be handy. Anyone know? Please leave me a comment below, because I love these trays. I really like them. And I don't mind if they chip or go a little bit rusty in places, but that doesn't look nice, especially in videos. People just think I'm using a dirty pan. And I'm not, I promise. Anne says, thanks for the tip on cooking a whole chicken in the slow cooker. We'll try that very soon. I always thought you had to add liquid. No, you don't. You can add like just an inch of water or stock or flavouring or lemon juice, or an inch of lemon juice would be too much flavour, but you can add a little bit of liquid, you can add a lot of liquid so you get a lot of stock or broth out of it at the end, or like I did, you can use no liquid and you still get a lovely little bowl of really good quality stock that I poured into a little tub. And then when I shred the meat up, I just mix that stock in with it, and it just turns into that lovely nutritious jelly. And then it just depends what I want to use that shredded meat for. So if I was making a stir fry, for example, then I just put some of that meat and that jelly into the stir fry. You're getting all the nutrients from the broth and all the protein obviously from the meat, and it's just yummy. And even like in a sandwich or in a wrap, the chicken with the jelly on it, you don't like get a mouthful of that chicken jelly, because I know some people freak out about that. But it just makes the meat more moist and so delicious. So good. Lynette wants to know, do we trellis our raspberries, and will you plant the blueberries? So the blueberries we can't plant here. We've got the wrong soil. Apparently blueberries are quite fussy, for Cornish people anyway, so they have to stay in pots. I can't remember what the soil that we have to plant them in is called, but it's a special soil. I don't know. And the raspberries, no, we don't currently trellis them. We might do in the future, but currently we just let them grow there. Then they just grow great big long stems, which you'll see in the summer, and get covered in fruit. Oh, it's so yummy in there. I could just go and sit in there and just fill my face quite happily. Glenda says, your keto breakfast was delicious. Not having a waffle maker, I made it in an egg ring, which worked out really well. And actually I saw Glenda's pictures of that on Instagram, and it did look amazing. They actually look like scones, or I think in America you call them biscuits. A biscuit to us is something like a snappy biscuit that you dunk in tea and eat. A cookie. It's all so confusing. Although don't you find with the internet that our languages are getting more combined, the English and American language? It's so interesting. Jane, I would like to know a few snack ideas. We're really new to camping. In fact, we've only done 4 short trips in our new motorhome since lockdown. We have a 3:30 stopping rule here, as in the Australian bush it's kangaroo time, and as well you can imagine, hitting one of those would not be pretty. So if possible, I would love to get some ideas for before dinner quick snacks, please. Now I know that Glenda is vegetarian, so that rules out things like salami and ham roll-ups and that kind of thing. But I did scribble down some ideas as I was printing this list out. These are things that I rely on heavily because I try to eat low carb. As you've seen, I'm not always very good at it. You can get little pouches of olives. Now, these are obviously really plastic heavy. I keep these generally for sticking in a bag or a backpack if I'm going out for a walk, or if I'm going to be out all day and I don't know where and when I'm going to get like a meal that I would choose to eat. So these are really good. They're really high in fat and they're really, really good for you, and they taste good. I think they do anyway. Obviously, if you're in a motorhome, you don't need to be buying plastic bags. That's just going to be a complete waste. You can buy nice jars and stuff that can be recycled. So yes, olives. Also, nut butters is another one. This is a company called Mindful Bites. This is hazelnut and berry nut butter, and it's just a little single serve pouch. Again, this is just really for one single serve use. So if you're in a motorhome, you can obviously have a jar of almond butter or peanut butter or whatever. And at home, I just take a big heaped teaspoon of nut butter or peanut butter, and I just like eat it like a lollipop. Does anyone else do that? We all know that I'm a little bit strange when it comes to food. So yeah, all the nut butters are really good, or nuts, of course. Nuts are really good too. Other ideas I had was a cheese, because I guess being a motorhomer, you've got probably a good fridge in your rig. So cheese, and obviously I'm going to say mozzarella because I can just live on mozzarella. I love the stuff. Also a couple of recipes that you can find over on my website if you want to have a go at making something that then you can just keep in a cupboard and kind of dig into when you're peckish. There's a date flapjack that I made years ago. I can't even remember how long ago I originally wrote that blog post. It's very, very old, but look at the comments. It's damn good. It's so good. It's anyone in America, it's a flapjack to us is like an oat slice that you make in a tray. I know in America flapjack is a pancake, but over here it's an oaty bar, oat bar. There you go. That's probably what you call it. So these flapjacks, this recipe is a layer of oaty mixture, and then a layer of squidgy, soft, sweet dates, and then another layer of oaty mixture, and then you bake that, and it's just amazing. And the other recipe I thought I might point you to was roasted chickpeas. Have you ever tried them? Basically, you just use a tin of chickpeas, and I imagine, again, motorhome, you've probably got an oven in your van, so you could even make these when you are on the road. Just baking tray, drained chickpeas that have been dried, and then you season them with different flavourings. So I'll point you to those couple of recipes if you want to go and have a look at them. Another thing that would need a fridge and fresher, possibly healthier ingredients, celery sticks. Have you ever done that? And I like to fill mine with peanut butter, and oh, that's really, really nice. And then just little cucumber discs that you just dunk in things as if you were like having chip and dips kind of thing. So hummus or salsa, that kind of thing. For the meat eaters, there's a whole nother conversation we can have there, but seeing as Glenda's veggie, let's not go there today. Evelyn wants to know, when you're roasting Brussels sprouts, do you roast them from raw? Yes, you do. So whack your tray in the oven so it gets nice and hot. Take it out and add the oil until it all melts and starts getting really hot. Whiz it around the pan, and then just chuck your whole sprouts in. You might want to take the outer leaves on if they're looking a bit scruffy, and maybe nick the end of the Brussels sprout off if you want, if it's looking a bit dry. Then just chuck them in the hot fat gently, roll them round so they're all covered, season them if you wish to or not. They're delicious without as well. And then just make sure they're all covered in a little bit of oil, back in the oven. So good. And if you can wait until some of them have just caught a little bit on those outside leaves, oh, it's just so good. So good. Hugh from English Country Life. Oh, and if anyone out there is interested in raising chickens for either the table or for eggs, or for breeding chickens, or if you just want a really sensible person's approach to small holding, then do go and check out Hugh's channel, English Country Life. I'll link to it below. Him and his partner Fiona do some really educational videos on small holding stuff. Really, really good channel. They've made soap recently. He's always experimenting in his shed. He's a bit like a mad scientist. We love you, Hugh. So Hugh wanted to know the microphone that I used for the voiceover, and the only microphone I've got is a little Rode Lavalier or lapel mic. It's called a Smart Lav, I think. It's pretty good quality. I didn't actually wear it for that. I just kind of held it near to the camera, so I wasn't really close to it. He also wanted to know what the white pen is for writing on glass. Oh, there it is. And it is the Pentel Wet Erase chalk marker. It does wipe off. It certainly wipes straight off when it's wet. You can just, if you mess up, you just wipe it straight off. And it does wipe off, like if you can smudge it quite easily. But I quite like it. Angelica has another question. She asked what my take on refreezing is. She says, I get very confused. For example, if you made a lasagna from frozen mince, would you freeze it? Absolutely. So the rules are, you can take a frozen meat, say minced beef, you can make a meal with it, so you've cooked your mince, and then you can portion that out and you can freeze that absolutely safely. That's safe for everybody, pregnant ladies, old people, people that are immune compromised, absolutely perfect. There is no risk whatsoever, so long as obviously you're sanitary at every step. Absolutely fine. What you don't want to be doing is taking things, for example, chicken or fish. Chicken should only be reheated once, so you can cook it, chill it, reheat it, and then that's it. It shouldn't be reheated more than once. In my opinion, you can reheat beef and lamb quite happily more than once, but that's probably not official guidelines, so don't listen to me. We're done. That's all your questions. That went really fast. Oh no, it didn't. I've been talking for ages. Okay, so now it's time for the giveaway for this book. I wonder where in the world this is going to be going. Please don't forget, I can't actually get to a post office safely right now, so it will have to wait until lockdown is lifted. I scribbled out all your entries on a little bit of paper. I put them in this glass jar, just for added dramatic effect. And we're going to go with, oh, I picked up two. Oh no. We're going to go with this one, and this is Lynette. There you go, sweet lady. You've bagged yourself a book. Lynette, I'll pop my email address in the description box below. Just pop down, send me an email with your address, and I'll get that out in the post as soon as I am able to. Well done, lovely. Congratulations. And I'm sorry everybody else that didn't get it. So I have some other news to share with you too. This video I think must be day 48 of these quarantine diaries, I think. So I have made a little decision, and I hope you don't mind. I'm going to stop doing daily videos on day 50. It's been an incredible experience, but I do need to take a little bit of time. little bit of time off now, so I'm going to take a few days off. I am going to still be sharing farm life with you. I'm still not entirely sure what that's going to look like going forward, so I just kind of want to just take a few days and kind of decompress and kind of register everything I've learned doing this, because oh my god, I have learned so much doing daily videos. And what I've learned most is that sharing my life has brought a community. It's brought you guys into a little community, and that is the most precious thing. Wasn't expecting that to come out of this little experiment. It has been tremendous. It's been a lovely, lovely feeling. The comments just, they've mostly made me very happy. So yes, day 50, which is going to be Tuesday in my world, so I'll be publishing it on Wednesday. That will be the last official quarantine diary video. I'm probably going to wait a week until I publish another video. I have no idea what topic that will be on, and I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to work these videos going forward. I won't be doing dailies. It's too much work long term for me to keep up. And I'm so damn proud of myself that I've managed, or will have managed, to have done 50 days of it. Like, I never would have thought I'd have been able to put out that much content so regularly. So, way to go me. So, if you've got ideas about where you would like this channel to go, I would be really interested to hear. I've got some ideas. I just need to decompress, and I need to kind of think through everything that I've learnt from doing this little experiment to work out what's best going to serve you guys, what's best going to fit my life, and also what is best going to serve YouTube and their algorithms, because obviously that is quite important. So yeah, let me know below your thoughts on going forward. I would appreciate that. Thank you. So I'm going to go and have a nice cold brew now and celebrate the fact that it's a beautiful sunny Sunday in Cornwall. Apparently tomorrow the weather is changing big time, like the temperature is halving overnight. Like, how does that even happen? So it's going to feel like we're being plunged back into winter, I think. So I will catch up with you tomorrow, guys. Please keep smiling, look after each other, and I'll see you in the next one. Over and out.